Habilitation, or why therapy after amplification of a hearing aid or a cochlear implant is absolutely essential, because deafness hits a family, and they don't have the skills to understand what it is. They do have the knowledge because they look up and it's a part of their finding out process and grieving process to do what. That's how anyone would respond in any situation, to respond to a crisis, to find ways and means to get back on the boat. It's so important that therapists or habilitation centers are a part of the society today, where a parent can actually access help and find a little hope that someone else has the skill that could work for my child. And so a parent, as part of this course, in this new course, hires the habilitation center or the therapist as the crew to be able to guide the family and guide the child towards this listening and spoken language process, to be able to acquire what he has to do, or guide the parents with listening skills. So therapy is all about being in the same boat: the parents, the child, and the therapist or the habilitation center. And all that the parent does is invest their time, their money, their understanding, their hope, their aspirations, their fears. They're trying to get answers for all of this that's happened suddenly. And they know that a therapist or a habilitation center would have something to guide them with. If we're talking about the auditory verbal approach for children equipped with hearing aids and cochlear implants, it's a mistaken belief that once you put on a hearing aid or a cochlear implant for the child's going to hear and the child's going to speak. That's not true. Yeah, the child has to learn to listen, and it's all about training the brain to learn to listen, and it involves the therapist who will guide you through this process, and the parent who will be the primary caregiver for the child in terms of listening and language at all times, because that's how much time the parent spends with the child, and the therapist that little. So the therapist is not the be-all and end-all of the child's life. They are just guides on this journey. They're ones to encourage you. They come with professional input. They come with their skill. They come with counseling. They come with an understanding of where you are, and also the ability to take the family through this journey and through this process one step at a time, or one day at a time. With auditory verbal, it is not possible for a child to come in without his hearing aids or an implant. There's nothing that can be done. With a hearing aid and an implant, you are directly put into the speech spectrum. The hearing aid, and if the child does listen up to the 6 sounds that are Ling's 6 sounds, and training the child to listen up to the learning to listen sounds, which are the priority, also with aided and unaided audiograms being done constantly after amplification of the hearing aid, or equipping the child with the hearing aid and the cochlear implant after mapping. So keeping a track diagnostically, assessments being done regularly, follow up with goals, and discussing goals with parents constantly. Their role is of priority in an auditory verbal approach. There's nothing that you can do without the parent. So she's very much, or he's very much, a part of the therapy program and the habilitation process. All and everything is done with the parent. So charting the course is also done with the parent. Sharing of goals and where we are going with the child is done with the parent. Achieving them is also done with the parent. Yeah, the parent takes these goals back and integrates them into her daily life or his daily life, and outcomes are there to be seen. And when parents do this, you find outcomes are high. And when parents don't understand this, then outcomes are low. The whole priority is to get this child to be able to speak. So he has to listen up first. So listening is our whole priority. Being able to also listen, speak, and integrate himself into the mainstream, age appropriately, whether it's school, whether it's being able to have a conversation, whether he's able to sing a song, whether he's able to speak, whether he's able to give a lecture, whether he's able to talk, speak on a platform. All these are our priorities also, so that he leads a life that is close to being able to manage himself with his listening, and gaining enough knowledge, gaining enough thinking in his development to be able to perform and to be able to go through life knowing where he's going, consciously, to become conscious thinkers and workers in life, even as adults. So we're not thinking of today and tomorrow, but it's way down the line, 10 years, 15 years from now. This is where the child has to go. And so that's what the auditory verbal approach does, prepares the parent and the family to think that far, while giving what has to be done at this